The importance of embracing failure early. Let me ask you something. Honestly, when was the last time you failed at something? Maybe you tried something new and it didn't work. Maybe you made a mistake and felt embarrassed. Or maybe you didn't even try because you were afraid of failing. Now, here's the interesting part. Most people try to avoid failure. They delay it, they hide from it, they fear it. But what if I told you something different? What if failure is not something to avoid, but something to experience early? Because the sooner you fail, the faster you grow. The sooner you learn, the better you become. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. In this episode, we're going to explore something very important. Why embracing failure early can actually make your life easier and more successful in the long run. So stay with me till the end, because this idea might completely change the way you see mistakes. What does embracing failure mean? Let's start with a simple understanding. Embracing failure does not mean liking failure. It does not mean you want things to go wrong. It simply means accepting failure as a normal part of learning. Instead of running away from mistakes, you allow yourself to experience them. You understand that failure is not the end. It is part of the process. This small shift in thinking can make a big difference. Why people fear failure. Before we talk about the benefits, let's understand the fear. Why are people so afraid of failure? One reason is judgment. People worry about what others will think. They don't want to look weak or incapable. Another reason is self-doubt. Failure can make people question their abilities. They may think, maybe I'm not good enough. And the third reason is past experience. If someone has faced strong criticism before, they may try to avoid that feeling again. So they avoid failure by avoiding action. The hidden problem with avoiding failure. At first, avoiding failure feels safe. You don't take risks. You don't make mistakes. But slowly, something else happens. You also stop growing. Because growth requires trying. And trying includes failing. If you never fail, it often means you are not challenging yourself. You are staying in your comfort zone. And while comfort feels good in the moment, it can limit your progress over time. Why early failure is powerful. Now let's talk about something important. Why is early failure better? Imagine learning a new skill. Maybe speaking English. Maybe playing a sport. Maybe starting something new. If you make mistakes early, you learn faster. Because early mistakes are easier to fix. There is less pressure. There are fewer expectations. You have more time to improve. But if you avoid failure for too long, the fear becomes stronger. And the cost of failure feels higher. So starting early, even imperfectly, reduces fear over time. Failure as feedback. One of the best ways to understand failure is to see it as feedback. Failure is not a final result. It is information. It tells you what worked, what didn't work, what can be improved. For example, if you try speaking English and make mistakes, you learn what to correct. If you try something and it doesn't succeed, you learn what to change next time. Without failure, this learning does not happen. The confidence that comes from failure. This may sound surprising, but failure can actually increase confidence. How? By learning something new. Because each failure teaches you something new, and each lesson makes you better prepared. Over time, you realize that you can handle mistakes. You can recover. You can try again. This builds real confidence. Not the kind that comes from success alone, but the kind that comes from experience. The shift from fear to curiosity. When you embrace failure early, your mindset begins to change. Instead of asking, "What if I fail?" you start asking, "What can I learn?" And this shift is powerful. Fear stops action, but curiosity creates action, and action creates growth. Practical ways to embrace failure early. Now let's talk about simple ways to apply this in real life. 1. Start before you feel ready. Many people wait for the perfect moment. They think, "I will start when I am fully prepared." But that moment rarely comes. Instead, start early. Even if you feel unprepared. Even if you feel unsure. Because clarity comes from action. 2. Set small challenges. Don't try to do everything at once. Start with small challenges. Small risks feel less scary, and they help you build confidence gradually. 3. Focus on learning, not results. Always focus on learning. Instead of asking, "Did I succeed or fail?" ask, "What did I learn?" This simple question changes your focus. It turns failure into progress. 4. Normalize mistakes. Remind yourself that mistakes are normal. Everyone makes them. Even skilled and successful people. The difference is they don't stop. 5. Reflect. Don't overthink. After a failure, take a moment to reflect. Understand what happened. But don't overthink. Don't stay stuck in the mistake. Learn and move forward. Real life example. Think about learning to speak a new language. At the beginning, mistakes are natural. You may pronounce words incorrectly. You may use wrong grammar. But if you avoid speaking because of fear, you never improve. The fastest learners are not the ones who avoid mistakes. They are the ones who make mistakes and keep going. The long-term advantage. People who embrace failure early have a long-term advantage. They learn faster. They adapt better. They fear less. Over time, this creates a strong foundation. While others are still waiting for the perfect moment, they are already improving. Final thought. Failure is not something to fear. It is something to understand. It is a teacher, a guide, a part of the journey. The earlier you accept it, the easier your path becomes. Before we end today's episode, think about one thing you've been avoiding. Something you want to try, but haven't started yet. Now first ask yourself, what if I try and fail? And then ask yourself a better question. What if I try and learn? Because sometimes the only thing standing between you and growth is the fear of a small mistake. Thank you for spending this time with me. If you enjoy these simple and meaningful English podcasts, consider subscribing to the channel, and I'll see you in the next episode. Until then, try a little, fail a little, and grow a lot.